go ahead and close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears. Allow the muscles in your face to droop down. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Hello and welcome to Mindful Moves. I am so grateful you're here. My name is Dans and we are going to be diving into quite the episode here. I am going to be speaking about something that I only now for the first time in my life feel super comfortable sharing about. I think before I felt super vulnerable or isolated or alone, and through my lived experience, I've realized that that is totally not the case on this topic. So we're just going to get right into it. And I want to start this by saying thank you to every single person who has spoken to me about this, shared their experience, and just made that feeling of not being alone. I have struggled with body image and self-love for as long as I could remember before diving into this healing journey. And there were so many tough days, and not thinking that you're good enough and really believing that in your bones just because of whatever you look like or who you are as a person is a really tough place to be. And the reason I say that is if you're there right now, there is completely a light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is you. I struggled with eating, nourishing my body. I went to a school that was really focused on body image and what you looked like, and it was just that time of being a teenager that really molded my experience. It's also been a generational thing. I've had this passed down, and I think that a lot of people from the previous generation, especially women, I'm going to be speaking from a perspective of mainly women interaction that I've had, it's been passed down generationally. A lot of my friends, a lot of their moms, their moms have all had a struggle with losing weight, needing to be good enough, looking like a certain model on a magazine or looking like the girl in the movie or whatever it may be. And so much of our self-worth was placed on what we looked like. And I struggled. I mean, when you're young, you don't really understand all of this, and you just go with the flow and you try and figure this all out. And I touched on it a little bit since this month our regulation tool is movement. I touched on it a little bit about exercise, and I used to really associate exercise and equate that with burning calories, let alone any other amazing effects it has, like the mental clarity, your brain health, your body health, everything. And I used to struggle with this, and it's only through becoming, number one, obviously self-aware and realizing that I didn't really believe these things. These were just beliefs from around me, society, friends, family, everything. It's a whole system that has preyed on the fact that women don't feel good enough. And I really started to dive so deep into this when I was looking at my hormone imbalance. And a friend of mine had also said to me that she had shared with the group that she had a thyroid problem from an eating disorder from when she was a teenager, and that was so many years ago. And I realized I had this hormone imbalance, PCOS, and I wasn't sure, what was all the driving factors. Obviously, my nervous system was not in the best space, and nutrition-wise, I had times in my life where I just didn't eat enough in hopes to lose weight or to look a certain way, and I exercised out of wanting to achieve that goal. And when you realize how deep it runs, it's, number one, it's fascinating. I find this very fascinating. But it's also, it moves something in you. It's really deep. And I know that so many people out there resonate, because I've spoken to so many people about this, and just the lived and familiar experience that so many people have had to go through is why this topic is so important. I firmly believe that there is so much information out there about, I'm going to use the example of, hormone imbalance. I see a lot of creators putting out, there's a hormone imbalance. These are the steps you can take. These are what's going to help you. And a lot of them are great. Like, they're amazing. Nervous system regulation, nutrition, all of these things. And they have helped so many people for sure. But I actually want to touch on like the root cause. I think it's an epidemic at the moment, what's happening with women and their hormone imbalances. And one in 9 people have PCOS, one in 8 have endometriosis. And I think that this is so casually kind of looked at. I never knew it was such a big deal. I really didn't, until I went to the gynecologist. And at the time, the gynecologist was a man. And if you know me personally, you'll know that this story is my fuel. I went to the gynecologist and I had stopped birth control, and 8 months later, I'd still not received my period. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go check it out, what's going on. And he informed me that I had PCOS, and that if I want to induce a period, he can give me some hormonal pills, but I had gone off hormonal birth control for a reason. Anyways, he sent me on my way quicker than I could have asked a question or two. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was worried. I was scared. I was like, what's going on? This was my villain story because I said to myself that I am going to educate myself and I'm going to heal my body. And then I'm going to write him a letter and say, hey, next time you have someone in your office that you've just diagnosed with a hormone imbalance, please give them these tips because you have helped me zero. And I don't even blame him. I blame the system. I actually don't blame anybody, but it's just the circumstances that has led us to this. So what I'm trying to say is I want to get to the root cause. And the root cause is that women haven't really felt good enough. And this is going to sound quite detailed, so just stick with me here. I feel that women not feeling good enough through society, through generationally passed on from mom to daughter, about needing to lose weight, needing to be smaller, needing to look a certain way, be thinner. All of these has contributed to many girls not eating enough, a lot of eating disorders, having a negative relationship with food, which is our fuel source. So you might not have developed an eating disorder, but you could just have a really strugglesome relationship with food. And exercise as well, of course. And to go a bit deeper, I firmly believe that so many of the women going through hormonal problems at the moment, or have gone through an eating disorder, whatever, yes, maybe an eating disorder caused an imbalance in your body or aided to it for sure. But if you look deeper than that, what's been actually passed down is the belief system that you are not enough. What you are right now is not enough. And that sits so deep in us. And when I started to realize that was actually the root cause, was a belief system that has been around for so many years. It's been, if you go back, we can look at the patriarchy and we can look at how much women have endured in that time. And I think it's so important to talk about, because I changed so many of my lifestyle habits. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying that if you really want healing, long-lasting change, you need to get to the deeper parts, which is, where do you not feel good enough? Why don't you feel good enough? Why are so many women that I speak to saying to me that every day since they're a child or teenager, they've been thinking about weight, what to eat, losing weight. It's always been in their head. It's like this vague little voice inside their head. And I think that that's what we need to address. And so much of it, everything of it is, yes, it's body image, but it's your self-belief about why you think you're not good enough. And I applaud people who are changing that, because it's hard. It's difficult because it's not just your beliefs that you're trying to change. It's not just a habit, and it's a belief system. It's not even one generation. It's been passed down for so many. And I think that we have to be brave in these situations and face that root cause head on and realize that there is so much we can do to help ourselves. But one of them definitely, in my opinion, is addressing that belief system, realizing where it started for you, maybe on your personal journey, and knowing that you don't have to believe that anymore. There were so many years of my life spent obsessed with that idea system, belief system, that I missed out on so much of life. I missed out on so many beautiful moments because I was thinking about everything to do with food, or not wanting to go to an event because of having to eat outside of my diet. And this is a common story. Whenever I share this, sometimes you feel super vulnerable and you think something's wrong with you, but it's not. It's a shared experience. And I just want to encourage, if anybody is going through that there is completely a way out. And the support of other women has really gotten me to where I am today, to be able to speak about this in front of other people. I'm going to be sharing this with everybody. I want everybody to know that it's okay if you feel like that, and that there is a way of healing. And of course, I really advocate for lifestyle change, because that's really, really helped me in my journey, and I've healed my hormone imbalance. But one of the key aspects is really, I had to go inwards, and that was difficult. It wasn't an easy time, and it isn't, and it doesn't just go away, but it gets easier with time, and you develop a new system. And I think that's why I just love the brain. And you'll hear me say this a couple of times. It took us so long to learn a certain belief, and our moms and their moms and the moms before, they had these beliefs too. And so imagine how many years of learning went on, and programming, and how you need to be so soft with yourself during this time. Be gentle. It's been so many years of learning, but positive is so much stronger. That energy charge is stronger. So being able to know, okay, there's been a lot of negative belief systems and a whole system based on women and not feeling good enough passed down to me. I absorb it in the television, I absorb it in social media, everywhere. Some people still have this belief system. And it's up to me to unlearn that and then relearn a nice one. I have taken the time, and I've unlearned so many destructive behaviors that I can now honestly sit here and say that I'm so happy with myself. I'm so happy with who I am. I feel like I've nurtured this part of myself and my inner child so much to make sure she knows you are good enough, and you've always been good enough. And it's really just one of my absolute missions to share this with other women and other girls, because if you're going through this, I know how lonely it can be. I am going to be sharing a bit more in depth about what you can do in terms of how to get to the root cause and how to meet yourself at that time. And you're welcome to read more about it on the website. But I encourage you, obviously this month is about movement. I encourage you to audit your life. I firmly believe that you don't need to change anything right now. What you do need to do is see where you're at. How is your relationship with exercise? Do you feel the need to go on a run after eating pasta because you feel bad? Because some people do, they still do. And it's okay if you feel like that. And I laugh because I was one of them, and I think that check out what you think and see, and be very particular, and write it down, and know yourself, get to know yourself and what your belief system really is. I strongly, strongly urge you to self-explore with no judgment. Go in there with love, because the last thing that you need is more restriction and more self-loathing. That's really not what you need right now. You really need to go in there with love and accept where you're at, and know that you can climb out of this. I really hope that you take these words to heart, and that you know that your own health is in your own hands. I never really realized how a belief system could affect my health, but it really did. And it was only once I had that I realized how important this is, how important it is for us to heal, especially if you're wanting to have children of yourself. You need to be healing this part of yourself so that when they come around, if you want children, it's really a personal choice. or if you're going to interact with children, maybe you just want to be a teacher, but you don't want your own kids. You need to have this part of yourself healed, because the undercut comments and ideas and beliefs about needing to look a certain way to have worth need to actually leave. We're at the time now, it's nearly 2024, and I think we all just deserve better. And like I said in the beginning, this is just from my lived experience, and I haven't spoken to many men about this, but I totally know that they also have their own set of problems, and everybody has their unique experience. So I just wanted to share that, and it is only from my point of view and the people I've interacted with. But every single person going through that feeling is totally valid, and it all starts with observation. So start observing yourself this month already. See how you feel with exercise, see how you feel in general associated to your body image, how it makes you feel, how do you feel looking in the mirror, and really explore that, because it's ultimately your health and it's your everyday. And how sad would it be to miss out on so much of life just because we're being self-critical and our belief system is holding us down, especially now knowing that you have the power to change it. So I just want to say I'm so grateful that you have allowed me to share something so deep in my heart and something that means so much to me. I am sending you on your way, and I hope you know that you can ask any questions and read up more about it. And don't forget, the light that you're constantly seeking on the outside is waiting to be acknowledged within. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here.